Hi, I'm going to touch on Tiger Brokers and Futu, the personal information protection law. What can Tiger do in the meantime? Appreciate a like if you like this video and do subscribe to my YouTube channel. So what's personal information protection law? Nastiest words, Tiger Brokers and Futu Trading app is going to be off the App Store. Compound to me, Tiger apps will not be off the Google Play Store and Apple stores. Why? Because there's still other markets like Singapore, Malaysia, Australia, and New Zealand. China has their own app stores, Xiaomi app stores and Huawei app store. If it's in the worst case scenario that Tiger need to take off their app, it's only in the China app store. Second, you need to look at the Southeast Asia business like Singapore, Malaysia, Australia, New Zealand. This market will not be affected like what I mentioned. And the next question is, what is your take of Tiger's Southeast Asia business valuation? What can be done now? Or has already been done by Tiger Brokers? They have leveraged on the collaboration with Alibaba Cloud, which is announced since 2021 June. It's been already 4 months plus at work. Now CSC's worst case scenario only. Think through. Concerns really on PIPL or more on the cross-border data transfer? How to address this? Is communication, data governance, and culture at Tiger Brokers. Number one, constant communication with relevant authorities. They have to work through the requisite for clients' understanding to better cater to return expectation and risk preference of each individual clients. So it's not unexpected to have this when Tiger Brokers is processing and accepting new clients. Regulators are effective regulators and they may not know all this investment, risk reward situation. So the cyberspace admin will have to be walked through on the investment process. It's not uncommon. Globally, it's required to actually request and to understand clients. The PIPL's main objective is to minimize the amount of clients' data required. Solution, communication or walk through what is required and what is good to have, and it's only good to have by Tiger, just delete it. Remove the good to have data from database and fine-tune the client acceptance form for China clients. And go through the data lake and data dictionary to satisfy PIPL. The main focus here is still on cross-border transfer. Data is king. Storing critical data overseas may pose a risk to a country to a certain extent. So you think through. What can you do? What can Tiger do? Is to manage data lake and have a clear data governance policy. Where are the data centers of Alibaba Cloud? And how to resolve data stored by custody agent and clearing agent. Tiger Brokers collaboration with Alibaba Cloud. This was announced since 1st June 2021, where Alibaba data centers, like what I previously mentioned in my previous video, is in China. So what is Alibaba Cloud? How relevant to current regulatory developments are current fears over the lack of understanding? This is Alibaba Cloud that I extracted from Alibaba website. And what's data lake? Data lakes store in centralized manners various types of data, including structured, semi-structured, and unstructured data. And they can connect to a lot of different servers and systems in layman's terms. And they use the OSS, Object Storage Service. And basically, it shows how data can be pulled from various sources and store. The data extraction, transformation, analytics, machine learning, etc. can be done. Alibaba Cloud FOREX solution. This is what I extracted, but I won't go into the technical terms here for the Alibaba Cloud. We know that Alibaba and Tiger collaborates for their Tiger trading platform. I expect the trading platform servers of Tiger can be connected promotely, and since June, there isn't any issue being flagged out. Now, is it possible to extract, transform, and load for overseas trade? The next approach is just to sort out the personal information that is required for overseas reporting if it's required under regulatory requirement. If it's not, that'd be good. And the next point is whether to consider what is the data required for custody and clearing agent when you process trades in US, Hong Kong. So here's the page that I cover on cross-border transfer personal information. And it's being stated in the PIPL rule that local storage of data is required. That is, processor of PI must store personal information within China. But what about the custody account, like that of Interactive Brokers that's holding some shares for Tiger Brokers in US and Hong Kong? And the Tiger can consider my suggestion and minimize information transfer to US Interactive Brokers to focus on Southeast Asia user trade. I have touched out on this in my previous video. Do take a look. So what is required of Interactive Broker? Just to extract, transform, and load only required data, you share minimal data with Interactive Brokers. The concern here is really a personal information data from China. Can data be stored in China? Definitely possible with Alibaba cloud data centers in China and Hong Kong. Even if they are not linked out to do the data storage, the trading platform collaboration already serve a connection, and they can link up very quickly to do the storage of client data. I mean, Chinese client data in China, no issue. The next part is, in the event custody agents or clearing agent require trade data, can we just show the aggregate trade data without showing single line items, and for Tiger Brokers to they themselves to process and identify which are the clients? That's possible with the various API within the cloud, and as well as the Tiger Brokers' own programming expertise. With the Banking Secrecy Act, there's a lot of things that the company like Tiger Brokers have to actually protect the information from clients, so they may not be definitely that required to share so much information. And the anti-money laundering regulations still apply, but the onerous part falls on Tiger Brokers still. So for client understanding, they keep the CIP, which is the customer identifications, where they record all the customer information identity and keep a record. But this may not be shared with the regulators, because often, even in Singapore, the regulator in Singapore itself only require clients to declare and disclose their shareholdings if they are the controlling shareholder, directors, executive officers, or a substantial shareholder who owns more than 5%. But you really have to check on this to see if the clearing agent and custody agent require customer information. This is something that I'm not exactly sure. With the data being stored in China and Hong Kong, I'm not so concerned as of this stage. And what's even better, if the China trades can be cleared in-house by Tiger Brokers without even going through Interactive Brokers, that further minimize the concern over PIPL. With the leftover China trades cleared by Interactive Broker, if there's really too many trades from China, using the approach of ETL, extract, transform, and load aggregate purchase without showing customer information, and if it's possible, then the data to be shared with Interactive Brokers, custody agent, and clearing agent will be very minimal, if any. So that's what I mentioned for the US trade. And for Hong Kong trade, this is a summary. You see, the key part is really the trades from China, but cleared by Interactive Brokers. If this is being done, of course, they have to sign agreement to protect the critical information, customer information. To me, I'm not so worried on the PIPL's impact on Tiger Brokers if the above that I summarized can work. Viewers nevertheless still have to try to find out more about disclosure requirements by SEC and FINRA. Ultimately, will investing of overseas shares by Chinese citizens be allowed? This is a great area which I touched on in my previous video. Will China explicitly ban it? That's the key question. Remember what I touched on here. They are still considering the allowance of investments in overseas stocks and insurance by Chinese citizens. I will cover the various scenarios impact on Tiger in the future in the event that China allow the investing of overseas shares or China will explicitly ban it. As always, this should not be construed as any investment or trading advice. Do stay tuned and subscribe to my YouTube channel so that I can be kept updated promptly when I release new videos to reflect the changing market conditions